Okay, so this is my Roblox Bedwars item tier list. Okay, first up we got the cannon. The cannon is useless. Just use a bow and arrow to shoot your TNT. The rock is also pretty bad. Like, bro, it's just a rock. What are you gonna do with the rock, dude? Like, throw it at someone, like, deal, like, 5 damage. Actually useless. The slime block is also pretty useless. People are going like, oh my god, but you can slime block clutch. Like, realistically, you're not gonna slime block clutch in an actual scenario, dude. It's so useless. The shield is also pretty bad. Yeah, okay, you don't take arrow knockback, but you literally cannot move. You walk at like 1 mile per hour. It's so useless. And then we have the shears. The shears are honestly very bad. It's very useless after the first minute of the game. Do not get shears. Okay, so first for D tier, we have the wizard staff. I mean, you only get like 2 spells, and like the duration is like nothing for the lightning strike, and it takes like 2 years for it to actually like regenerate its mana, so it's very, very bad. The stone bricks are also very useless. I mean, honestly, if you're looking to defend, stone bricks are just not it. If someone's actually gonna rush you, they're most likely gonna use TNT, so stone bricks are just super bad. Okay, next up we have the hammer. The hammer, yeah, sure, you can add like 2 more hit durability to your blocks, but realistically, hammer is gonna be also pretty useless. Okay, now for C tier, first we have Tesla Trap, and honestly, Tesla Trap is pretty bad if I'm being real. You can break it in like 4 hits. I mean, like, yeah, sure, if you spam Tesla Traps all in the same location and like convince someone to like go to it, you might deal a good amount of damage, but it's just like a waste of iron. Okay, so next up we have carrot seeds, and honestly, carrot seeds take like too long to actually like give you diamonds. It takes like a long while, and honestly, I mean, like, yeah, it's kind of useful if you want to like get all of those diamond upgrades, but personally, yeah, honestly, I wouldn't use carrot seeds. And now we have Obsidian, and honestly, I feel like for what it's worth, Obsidian takes a long time to get, and then once you get it, realistically, your bed is probably going to be already destroyed since the 20-minute mark has passed. So yeah, Obsidian, honestly not worth it. I mean, it is a very strong block, but due to the amount of time it takes to actually get it, I personally wouldn't use Obsidian, unless you're in like a custom match, you know? Okay, next we have Lassie, and as I said previously, Lassie is good if you're, like, camping, like, another side of the bridge and, like, trying to make a rusher fall off the void, but other than that, like, scenario, probably not going to be a useful kit. Or useful item, I should say. Okay, so next up, we have the Knockback Baguette, and honestly, the Knockback Baguette actually used to be useful when you actually took, like, 2 miles of knockback, but now that they have nerfed it, personally, the knockback baguette is honestly not that great anymore. You take like what, 2 inches of knockback, and then like someone could just like kill you while you're trying to make them fall off the void. Wouldn't use that. Okay, honestly, the swap pearl, it's not that great, honestly. Maybe if you're trying to run away from someone, you can like swap pearl and confuse them. But honestly, yeah, I wouldn't use swap pearl. We also have the flash grenade, and honestly, okay, so maybe if you're like trying to get someone's bed, you drop a few TNTs, and like you get a smoke grenade in there to try to like confuse them. Other than that, like very specific scenario, I wouldn't see a reason why anyone would use a smoke grenade. Like, dude, it's actually so useless, okay? But yeah, I'm still just gonna give you a C tier. Okay, and for the final one for C tier, we have Zipline, and honestly, for what it's worth, Ziplines are pretty bad considering it actually costs emeralds to get them. And like what? You gain like 2 seconds of free time because you use a zipline? Like, dude, just walk like a normal person. Are you actually that lazy? Okay, next up we have Beehive, and honestly, I don't think Beehives are that great, if I'm being real. If you want to get emeralds, just use the farmer kit. Beehive is getting a B tier. Okay, next up we have ravens, and honestly, I feel like ravens are pretty underrated. For what it's worth, like, ravens have been buffed dramatically to the point in which it's actually, like, a very annoying kit to use. It's basically like the spear catcher kit, but they can actually fly, and you can spam as many as you want, which is honestly incredible. But, yeah, honestly, it does take a bit to, like, actually go to the person with the raven, and honestly, raven's actually pretty good if you're going for, like, reconnaissance, too. So yeah, ravens are actually pretty underrated. Okay, so next up for C tier, we have Oakwood. And if I'm being honest, Oakwood is actually pretty good. If you're going for like early game, you just like place down some wood. Realistically, they're only gonna have like a pickaxe, so it's actually like, gonna take them a bit to actually mine the wood, which is honestly pretty good. And like most people are probably going to just like upgrade their pickaxe, so Oakwood might be good if I'm being real. But yeah. Okay, next up we have a guitar. And honestly, the guitar is pretty good for healing, like healing your teammates. The only downside is that like you can't damage anyone while you're healing, which does suck, but it's whatever, I guess. Okay, next up we have the wood pickaxe. And honestly, I would say the wood pickaxe is a B tier. I mean, like, yeah, the wood pickaxe is kind of essential, but at the same time, I don't like the wood pickaxe. And wait, and by the way, this wood pickaxe means that like every pickaxe. I'm not gonna include like 20 different types of pickaxes, you know? I'm just gonna say one pickaxe and like give my opinions on that item, so yeah. Okay, so next up we have the charge shield. And honestly, yeah, sure, if you want to go a bit faster, the charge shield does help, but it's basically a knockoff Jade, and you can't even jump while using it, so yeah. Okay, next up we have the camera turret. And the camera turret is very good for camping, but if you're going for like damage output and stuff, probably shouldn't use it. But yeah, for what it's worth and for its purpose, it's honestly pretty good. Next up, we have the wood axe, and honestly, the wood axe is the pickaxe, but way better. You can mine beds way faster. You can deal with wood. Honestly, I love the axe. The axe is pretty cool. And the fireball, I'd give it a B tier. Yeah, sure. Maybe if you're looking to like immediately run and like get someone's bed while running at them. But at the same time, a fireball costs like 90 iron, and you can get like 2 TNT for that price. So I mean, yeah, I would just like prefer to get TNT at that point. And the bow is pretty good. If you use a bow, you're honestly pretty annoying. But yeah, the bow is pretty good. But it doesn't do as much damage as like a crossbow or tactical, so I'd give it a B tier. And also, the aim is also dramatically different from a crossbow or a tactical, so yeah. So next for A tier, we have a Speedy Pie. And the Speedy Pie is just incredible. I love it. You just go faster, period. That's all it does, and it's just amazing. And now Speedy Pie is making go faster than a dodo, which is pretty good. So yeah. Next up, we have a spirit, and honestly, spirits are pretty annoying, which is why it's actually good. You can just, like, spam a bunch of spirits and make them fall into the void, or just, like, annoy them into oblivion. So, yeah, spirits are pretty good. Next up, we have wool, and honestly, I love wool, just for defending a bed, and just, like, building and stuff. Wool is 100% your go-to item in those cases. Wool gets an A tier. Okay, so next up we have the ceramic, and honestly, the ceramic is pretty good as like a deterrent from rushers. If you could like place some wood, then some ceramic, then some wool, it's actually a pretty good defense. Because if they like try to place TNT, they're gonna be like, "Aw, bruh," and like they're just gonna be like super annoyed, which is honestly, for what it's worth, pretty good. Okay, so next up we have the crossbow, and honestly, the crossbow is just a better bow. Nothing else I need to say. Okay, so now we have the Jade Hammer, and the Jade Hammer is pretty good for mobility, and that's all it does, but it is pretty good for mobility, so I give it an A tier. Okay, so first off, when I first originally saw the flamethrower, I thought it was like pretty trash, and it's honestly, yeah, like day one, the flamethrower was pretty trash. But I feel like as time went on and like they actually buffed the flamethrower, I feel like okay, yeah, it might be viable. Still probably not gonna be my favorite kit or the kit I'm gonna use. But yeah, I do see the benefits of using a flamethrower now. Okay, so next up we have a Tele Pearl, and honestly, a Tele Pearl is just incredible. You can just like dip out of places, you can go to places very quickly, very fast. It is all in all a pretty good item. Okay, so for S tier, we have Melon Seeds. And Melon Seeds are pretty good since it gives you some more emeralds. And honestly, I like emeralds, so I'm going to give it an S tier. Okay, next up we have apples. And honestly, apples are insane and super underrated. You can just like chug a bunch of apples if someone's trying to kill you. And like once everyone has emerald armor, you can literally just like chug apples while people are trying to kill you. Like I've been in custom matches where I've just like chugged apples and nobody was able to kill me while I was wearing emerald armor. Apples are pretty good. Okay, so next up we have TNT, and TNT is just amazing. I love TNT. It's amazing for rushing, it destroys a ton of blocks. All in all, TNT is just amazing. I love TNT. Okay, so next up we have the rocket launcher, and honestly, the rocket launcher is just insane. You deal like rage blade amount of damage with a rocket launcher, and it's also a projectile, which just makes it like very, very good and very, very OP. Okay, now we have balloons. And balloons, as much as I hate balloons, yeah, balloons are very OP. If you get knocked into the void, you can just, like, use balloons and get out of there. Balloons are very OP. I don't like them, but yeah, they are kind of essential. Okay, this might seem like a bit generic, but, armor and swords get an S tier because you kind of need them if you want to win the game, you know? Like, okay, maybe you don't need armor to win, like, 2v2s, but in all, these two items are, like, very essential and very crucial to winning the game. So yeah, I would give them an S tier. So yeah, oh my god, this is my tier list. Oh my god, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I will make another epic tier list later. Oh my god.